As you pick up the key ideas in the book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi with this quick summary, kindly subscribe. I Will Teach You to Be Rich does what it says it will. Through a down-to-earth description of the basics of investing, it discloses the investment tips that everybody should have been taught in school. And here are the key points. 1. Ignore experts and invest the simple way. There's a much simpler way to invest. Don't believe the experts. Not one of them can consistently predict how funds or stocks will perform in the market over time. Much like Frederick Brochett's 2001 study, which found that wine experts weren't able to distinguish between wines, financial experts can't always be trusted. This is because they can't see the future. The reality is, no matter what they say, experts are frequently wrong. Daniel Solon, author of the smartest investment book you'll ever read, describes some research which revealed that 47 of 50 advisory firms persistently advised investors on shares in companies right up until the date they filed for bankruptcy. Therefore, bypass expertise and opt for the simplest path to investing. Picture an investment pyramid in which each category has an asset class. That is, stocks, bonds, and cash are at the base, index and mutual funds are in the middle, and lifecycle funds are at the top. These investments become more complicated as you move down the pyramid, so the simplest approach is through automatic lifecycle funds, also known as age-based funds. Which aspects of the pyramid you invest in shifts depending on your age. For instance, if you are a 25-year-old, Vanguard Target Retirement 2050 offers 90% stocks and 10% bonds. But if you are 55, it offers only 63% stocks and 37% bonds. As you can see, in your 20s, more of your assets are in stocks. This is because you can afford to take the risk at this age. As you get older, the balance moves accordingly, and lifecycle funds make things easier by automatically adjusting for you. The great thing about lifestyle funds is that you only have to own one fund. Then you simply need to decide where to apply the fund's investment, for example, to a 401k or a Roth IRA. 2. Pick the best bank account. Chapter 2 of I Will Teach You to Be Rich is titled Beat the Banks. It says you should open only high-interest, low-fee accounts and may want to consider multiple savings accounts. These criteria can be found in Charles Schwab, Ally Bank, and Capital One. All of these accounts have no minimum balance, no recurring fees, and offer interest rates well above average. If the three do not operate in your area of residence, consider online banks. Online banks often provide the best interest rates. Their overhead costs are minimal, and they don't have to spend money on branches or marketing. Consequently, their customer service is better, and they can handle lower profit margins than traditional banks. They also offer interest rates 6 to 10 times higher than a conventional bank. Next, get the best bank accounts. The minimum should be one checking account and one savings account. You need checking accounts for frequent withdrawals, and savings accounts for goals like vacations or special events. 3. Use your credit cards the right way. Understanding how to harness the power of credit cards will be your first step towards saving money and getting rich. Credit comes in the form of loans, mortgages, and credit cards, and it enables you to buy big purchases when you don't have the money for them immediately. Keep in mind two central aspects of credit. A. Credit report, which records your credit activity and gives potential lenders information related to it. B. Credit score, a number between 300 and 850 that denotes your credit risk to lenders. If you can't pay off your credit cards in full by the due date each month, you are better off not using them. The same goes for people who fall into bad spending patterns and can't follow a budget when they have credit cards. However, if you can commit to paying off your cards in full every month by the due date, they can turn into a gateway to huge rewards. Cashback and travel rewards credit cards can put a little cash back in your pocket for each purchase or give you miles or points you can redeem for free travel. When you use those travel rewards well, they can be worth even more than the cash. But that approach is only worthwhile if you can avoid interest charges. Other tips for credit handling are: 1. Kill your debt, reduce spending, and pay it off. Punctual debt payments account for 35% of your credit score, so arranging automatic credit card payments will ensure you never skip a payment. 2. Contact your credit card company and request they waive your annual fees and service charges, and reduce your annual percentage rate. Surprisingly, many are willing to do so. 3. Seek out the best benefits you can from credit card companies. The author's credit card concierge even helped him to get tickets to the LA Philharmonic when there were apparently none left. 4. Spend based on values. Chapter 4 of the book is titled Conscious Spending. Conscious spending is about reducing the amount of money you spend on things that aren't so important to you and spending more on things that you really care about. It isn't about cutting every possible nickel and dime out of your budget and living as frugally as possible. Instead, Ramit suggests you focus your spending on what you value most. Adopt a conscious spending plan helps you automatically save and invest a given amount per month and spend the rest on whatever you want, guilt-free. The author breaking down the percentage you spend on different things in the following way. 60% on fixed costs, rent, utilities, debt. 10% on investments, 401k, Roth IRA. 10% on savings, vacations, gifts, unexpected expenses. 20% on guilt-free spending. For example, he shares one story of a friend who spends 5 figures a year going to bars, nightclubs, and other nightlife. But he is in good financial shape despite these costs because he funds savings, retirement, and other goals first. Once you meet your financial obligations, you can spend within the budget you set, guilt-free. Another of the author's friend, Jim, moved to a smaller apartment after he got a raise. Because his living space didn't matter much to him, but he loved going camping, so he put his money towards that. Next, learn to adjust your spending. For example, you can try the envelope system, in which you decide how much you wish to spend on the 4 areas above and put that money in envelopes, so when they're empty, there's no more spending for that month. Envelopes may also be metaphoric. The author's friend opened a bank account with a debit card that acted as an envelope. Each month she loads money onto the card for socializing, and when the money's gone, she doesn't go out. 5. Only you are to be blamed for your financial problems. You've probably felt guilty at some stage about not saving money, or maybe you think it's too late to start. Resist those thoughts. The first thing you should know is you shouldn't get distracted by information fed to you by the media. There is a lot of information on finance out there, and it can be paralyzing. Plus, a great deal of this information is boring and unhelpful, like you should cut back on those lattes, which doesn't take into account the actual life of a young adult. When it comes to investment advice, young people have reason to point the finger at the media and blame others who could have taught them better. But the best way for someone to change their savings outcomes is by taking responsibility for his choices. Such common excuses, like our education system doesn't teach money management, are grossly inaccurate. Many colleges do provide classes on finance, yet students don't attend them. Fear of losing money is another popular excuse for not doing anything with it. But it's actually preferable to lose money when you're young, because you don't have that much to lose. Then when you have more later, you'll better understand how to keep it. Bear in mind money is also drained from your account when you leave it to stagnate in banks. We all remember the financial crisis in 2008 when many foolishly withdrew their money from the market. A lot of these people had no diversified portfolio and bought high and sold low, a big mistake. It was easy to blame the government and banks, but most hadn't picked up a single personal finance book to educate themselves. We need to take responsibility for our problems and start solving them. 6. Automate your investing. Good intentions for saving and investing are great, but unless you take action, you may run into serious financial struggles in retirement. Luckily, we live in a time where we can automate the vast majority of those savings, so we never have to think about it. If you have a 401k plan at work, participate. If you don't have an IRA or Roth IRA, open one. Set up automatic rules that match your payday and bill schedules, and you won't ever have to remember a manual transfer. Chapter 3 of the book helps you answer those investment account questions you may be wondering, while Chapter 5 goes into details on automation. 7. Today's actions lead to huge results in the future. One unifying theme that stretches across the book is that you can take small actions today that add up to tremendous results later on. While saving $5, $10, or $20 per month may not seem like much, over time it becomes hundreds, thousands, and even more. Sathai also shows that you can follow your own financial journey. Don't worry about where your neighbors, family, or friends spend their money. Try to avoid wasting money on things you don't care about and work to get a good deal on major purchases so you do have the money to spend on what you care about most. If you can master a few basic skills, you could have a much brighter financial future ahead.